evening. I am Yashika Foster, the artist of dating. And today we are talking about looking for love in all the wrong places. I know that you've heard it before where sometimes we go after, especially as women, right? We want the guy that, you know, got a little something in him, got a little swag to him, and things like that, right? But sometimes we also know that the guy that we want is not always the guy that's good for us. And so I would associate that to looking for love in the wrong places. Because a lot of times when we meet those guys are not emotionally available. Those guys are the kind of guys that are still trying to sow their own oats, right? Because they have other women that likes their swag. They have other women that's attracted to the way they move, the way they smell good, or the way they wear their clothes, or what kind of shoes they have on, or whatever, right? And so they have their options of women. Now, this isn't to say that these men cannot be devoted to one woman or monogamous in a relationship. It's just that sometimes their patience spans are not what we want them to be, right? And so it's like we have to constantly, intrigue them in a way where they're there. And so as a woman, you have to ask yourself, is this something you want to do all the time? And I'm not saying you can't, I'm not saying you shouldn't, but is this something you want to do all the time? Always be on your P's and Q's when it comes to the guy you're dating. And so again, I associate this to looking for love in all the wrong places. Or what about you're looking for someone who is just coming up out of a marriage, right? I'm a firm believer that, and I'm guilty of it myself, there's this old expression that I use that sometimes we can get in a relationship so quick that if the partner that left before the partner you're with had a tail, then they would have sat on it. Okay, because you know how when an animal walks away, their tail is the last thing to leave? Well, kind of in the same way, right? Sometimes when that person is not emotionally available because they're coming out of another relationship, you can put yourself in a position where they're rebounding with you. So they're not really available because they're trying to fill that hole or that gap that they had with their partner before. And so they're still trying to figure out in their head exactly what it is that they want or what they need at this stage in their lives because they're no longer in that relationship. So they're trying to think about who they are now moving forward or what they want moving forward. And so this also goes into, looking for love in the wrong places, because I'm not saying that everybody has a limit, right? I'm not saying that, a person should wait a dead set 3 months or 6 months or a year or whatever the case may be. But you have to ask yourself, when a person is coming out of a relationship, are they at a place where they're open to dating somewhere else, or will you be compared to their previous relationship or thought of in that way? And so you could put yourself in a position where you are looking for love in the wrong places. All right. So the next one is, say that someone is so I talked about someone who is, kind of got that swag to them, and you like that particular kind of, we're going to call them bad boys. And then I've also talked about someone that's coming out of a relationship. And also this goes for someone who was recently widowed or widowed, right? That's a big deal because they really need time to heal before they go into a relationship. And again, healing process looks different for everybody. Some of them may know the difference between what they had with their deceased spouse and what they have moving forward. But understand this, that when you go into the relationship, you need to be aware of that. You need to be aware of that they may have some thoughts, they may have some images, they may have things that still linger around of that person, especially if it's a recent loss, right? And so those are two areas that I want to talk about. But then the third area I wanted to talk about, when we talk about looking for love in the wrong places, is just looking for a person who is not ready to be in a relationship, period. In other words, you meet someone and they are just living their best life. And they tell you that they're not wanting to be in a relationship. But for whatever reason, that translates to you to, well, maybe they don't want to be in one now, but if I stay around, or if I stay consistent, or if I show him that I'm interested in him, or that I'm going to be there for him, maybe that'll change his mind. And I'm here to tell you that all that does is set yourself up for failure. And also, I posted a video about he said what he mean and he means what he says, or what he said is what he meant. And so I'll go ahead and post that a link in the description below of this video so that you can watch that. And so so you can have an understanding of when a man says something, you can't really, you can don't believe that you could change his mind, because believing that you could change his mind is setting yourself up for failure. And I'll talk about it in that video. So make sure that you go back and watch that video. But when you think about, but for this video, when you think about someone who you might be looking for love in the wrong places, think about the whole person. Is this someone that is available? Is this someone that is appealing to other people to the point where they're looking at their options as choices? And if this is someone that's coming out of a relationship, whether it's because they were married before and got divorced, or they was recently widowed and they lost their spouse. And then of course someone that just says they simply don't want a relationship. So you need to ask yourself these questions, because if you are trying to date someone that has those things, to me, those are red flags. And those red flags are areas that you need to say to yourself, you know what? I don't think this is something I want in my life right now. And again, if that's what you want, when it comes to dating, you need to make sure that the person that you're looking for is in the space that is kind of lined up with your headspace. What is your end goal? You're wanting to date someone, get to know them, get married, have a baby, whatever your goal is. Make sure that person's goal lines up with yours, because if they don't, again, you may be looking for love in the wrong places. And all that does is give you a broken heart, set you up for failure and disappointment. Okay? So this was a quick video, I know. Make sure that you follow me on YouTube, so when I go live, you'll know, turn on your notifications. I'll also post all my contact here if you want to get in contact with me. And if you have a question or something about this video, or you have a video that you want me to, or a question that you want me to reply to or respond to, just shoot it down below in the comments, or send me an email, and that also will be below in the description how you can get in contact with me. My name is Yashika Foster. I'm the artist of dating, and thank you so much for watching this video. Bye.